it's time for our sports section, which we're going to term This Week in Sports, because generally we've been focusing on the NFL, but there are other sports that exist. The NBA Finals is currently going on. The Lakers are up 3-1. I haven't been watching, so I'm not going to talk about it. Zeus, have you been watching?
I've been like you. The most that I know is they're up 3-1.
All right, cool. So that's the NBA section. That was good. And then a big one that we actually haven't been talking about is the MLB.
Actually, real quickly before you go off on that,
Uh-huh.
I wanted just a cool point to point out too. Did you see? And I'm because it's going viral. I think is Alex Trebek the one that does Jeopardy?
Yes, he is. I love
So
Alex
where
Trebek.
he listened. He did a little skit to announce an NHL player is being picked.
Okay.
So if you have a chance, look it up. It's pretty cool. It's like he just basically said, he's like, who is like what's it called? This player was selected by the blah 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 in 2000 in the 2020 and then he's like, who is? And then he says his name, and that's how he announced who that pick was. So it was kind of cool. So if you have a chance to look, if I have a chance to find that, I'll try to what's it called? Link it. So it's a pretty cool moment.
There's a little Jeopardy snippet too in that trailer for that new Ryan Reynolds movie where he's a video game character.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought about that just now when you said Alex Trebek. But okay, yeah. So anyway, so that's the NBA. Yeah, I don't know anything about the NHL. I think someone from Tampa Bay won the Lightning. They won the Stanley Cup, I believe.
Yeah, my team is the Predators, but not really. But they're in Nashville, so I was like, if I choose a team, it'd be that one, just because that one's the closest one I can go to.
Yeah, I would have picked the Thrashers, but they've been defunct for like almost 15 years now.
Speaking of which, so at my job, so they're doing like some type of thing where they're showing photos of the jerseys. My director actually did the Thrashers jersey today, and she sent a photo to everybody of her wearing the Thrashers jersey, and I was like, yo, she's been holding onto that one for a little bit. Because they've been gone since I don't know when. At least 10 years.
Oh no, I was in high school, so it's been a while. But anyway, so the one that we haven't been talking about is the MLB. The playoffs have started. We have spoken about baseball a bit since our show started, mostly around how they've handled the coronavirus pandemic. I really got to say, big props to them, because there was months of negotiations when it comes to like, players not wanting pay cuts, how they're going to handle the crowds and other stuff. And by and large, they've really knocked it out of the park, baseball pun included.
It's kind of a you kind of don't really get I'm gonna say with them and a little bit of the NBA, you kind of don't. I don't see them like. It doesn't seem like the season is missing that much of a beat, right? It just.
Yeah.
Only difference is, you see the face masks. You don't see the audience, but
right. The NBA a little bit though.
I don't think the play has. You see it in the NFL a little bit, where all these injuries are just happening because they didn't have preseasons. But I think that might have to do something with the fact that the season was starting. No,
right. So MLB did have the spring training, and then all this happened. NBA was already underway, and then this happened. The thing with the NBA is, I will say that you do there is a bit of a difference in that one, not every team came back after
that's true. Yeah,
the bubble. They were like, okay, all you teams that don't actually have a chance to make the playoffs, skedaddle.
But that makes sense in a sense if you think about it, because they're just basically like, there's no point in us letting y'all play if y'all have absolutely no chance.
I completely agree. Yeah. There was no point in bringing them back. I'm just saying that there was a marked difference with it. Also, the fact that no one was playing in their home grounds, whereas in the MLB, people were still playing in their home stadiums. Early on in the MLB season, the Miami Marlins got hit hard with COVID, and they had to postpone a bunch of their games. But really, other than them, and I think maybe the White Sox a little bit, it's been pretty smooth sailing. So anyway, all that is to say that we got to October, the playoffs have started, and how the playoffs are working is that in the wild card series, which have been expanded to 8 teams now, so it's like first versus 8, second versus 7, all that. Normal bracket style, no reseeding. So in the wild card series, the higher seed hosts, right? And it's just 3 games straight. It's not 2 games here and 1 game there. It's 3 games straight. The higher seed hosts. So that's done. That was done last week. The Braves made it through. They beat the Cincinnati Reds 2-0. Swept, yeah. 2-0. They didn't give up a single run, so that was good. But now in the divisional series, you're not having a home team away team sort of thing, right? Because it wouldn't make sense to do the home team having 5 games straight. That's like too much of a home field advantage. What they instead did is they picked 4 stadiums to have as the bubble stadiums, and they put both teams in those stadiums, and it's like 5 games all the way through.
So kind of like Little League.
Sure. I don't have any kids
No,
in Little
because
League, so
the
I don't
Little
know.
League they do the tournament, and it's just usually, if I'm not mistaken, it's usually just in one spot, and you're
Right.
playing games. So that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
what you're saying is exactly what's happening. Yeah. It's one spot, and they do the series straight through. There's no off days, so the Braves are going to play their 5 games straight, or the best of 5 series essentially. And so far so good. No cases. So that's how that's going. Same thing with the championship series, and same thing with the World Series. Neutral site. The Braves, if you've been following our show, you know that the Atlanta Falcons have been atrocious. Well, the Atlanta Falcons have a team to root for, because the Braves, as I said, they won their wild card series. That is their first postseason series win since 2001. Um, they are now up 2-0 against Miami as of earlier today, and if they win one more game out of their next 3 chances, they will be going to their first NLCS since 2001, where they faced Arizona. So it's a big thing for Atlanta fans to watch, and hope that they don't fall prey to the curse of Atlanta. Have you been keeping up with it at all?
I have been keeping up with it. Remember, my wife's Dominican, so my father-in-law is Dominican, and he watches a lot of baseball. One thing that we talked about that he doesn't think so, and I don't know if you agree with, because I've heard it a lot, so you can tell me more if you think it's a good argument. Was Freeman getting the MVP nod?
I think he definitely deserves to.
Yeah, because I mentioned, I just joked around, said it. I was like, oh, Freeman. I was like, yeah, MV. What do they call him?
MV free.
MV free. And then he was like, I don't think he's gonna get it. And then he tried to give me things, but I don't think he's been paying attention to it. That's probably why he doesn't think so.
So I'll make the case for Freeman. Basically, he's and I'm not just saying this as a Braves fan, right? Even though last year I would have liked Acuna to win it, I understood why he didn't win it. This year it's got to be Freeman, because I believe he's second in hits, or is it he's either first or second? All these categories I'm about to say, he's either first or second. He's second in RBIs. I believe first or second in runs scored. First or second in average, right? And also OBPS. Like, he's been on top of it this season. Like, he's been just top notch. The only person, so when he in those categories where he is second, first is going to be Juan Soto. And Juan Soto plays for the Nationals, who didn't make it back to the playoffs. Freeman did this for a team that made it to the playoffs. So you'd have to think, well, his contribution helped get them to the playoffs. Yeah. That should count for more than a guy who didn't make the playoffs.
Wasn't there a game in the championship that he kind of helped them, like one of his hits won it? Like, or basically
game one of the wild card series. They went to the 13th inning, 0-0. Braves and Reds pitching were like lights out that game, but he hit the game winning RBI.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I remember reading that or whatnot. So
I mean, he's been on top of it. The only other person that they might make an argument for is Fernando Tatis, but he really fell off towards the end of the season. He's an electrifying player, right? He's out in the West Coast. He's young. He's got like the dreads or whatever. He does stupid stuff like flipping the bat and making a big show of it. So
speaking of flipping the bat, did you see what Ronald Acuna wrote on Twitter?
No.
He flipped the bat. He was like, I want to apologize to I want to thank absolutely either apologize to absolutely no one or thank absolutely no one, because I guess him and the Marlins pitcher are having a feud.
Yeah. So Well, let me just finish up on Tatis real quick. So,
Okay.
so Tatis, he does the whole bat flipping thing and all that, and it's like, oh, he's a bad boy of baseball, right? So it's like, it's the dream of people who like to make an entertainment out of sports to have this guy be the face of the game, but the numbers don't back it up. The
Yeah.
numbers back up Freeman winning the MVP. Now to Acuna yesterday in Game One. One thing about Acuna that most people don't know, he actually has the record for the most leadoff home runs I think, in MLB history. I think he's at 18 for the regular season. Well, he continued that yesterday with having a leadoff home run against the Marlins in Game One of the NLDS. And in the very next at bat that Freeman had, the pitcher threw a fastball that hit him right in like the ribs. Now, some people are saying, well, the pitcher didn't mean to do it because it was one of those fastballs. It seemed like a two-seam fastball that has quite a bit of movement, and people are saying that, oh, he just lost control of it. But I don't think Acuna was seeing it that way because there's been a lot of tension.
Acuna on Twitter said, they hit me because they can't get me out.
Well, that's true because the very next, so they hit him, he gets on base, and I believe he scored. So he scored the first run with a home run, then he scored that second one by being batted in by Ozuna, I believe. And then I think he got out on the third one, but then he got on his fourth at bat. So like Acuna has been a hard out for the Marlins. And the pitcher was Alcantara, if I'm saying that correctly, that hit him. So it's a nice division rivalry that we have with the Marlins anyway. So it's cool to be facing them and having this go on. Another fun fact: the Marlins have actually never lost a postseason series. They've made it to the postseason twice, and they won the World Series twice.
So, oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm gonna point out something in regards to, so when this coronavirus hit and everything got canceled, right? And I remember somebody specifically asking, like, "Oh, but is there going to be an asterisk next to the
whoever wins it?"
Yeah, and then I was like, the Atlanta Braves' only World Series win was a strike shortened season. Nobody talks about that part. They talk about them being a World Series winner in 1904. And honestly, I haven't been paying attention to the baseball. But just reading up on and seeing like the highlights and all that stuff, to me, I don't know if you agree, but the Braves seem to be the team to beat right now, and they seem to be having the momentum behind them at the current moment.
I will say that as far as like if the game was just about purely hitting and slugging, I would say the Dodgers are the team to beat, and the Braves are right behind them. Okay. But because the game is about everything, including fielding and pitching, I actually would give the Braves the edge. I think the defense is the best in the league right now. Honestly, the Braves were that short of it last year. I think they had the pieces, but last year they kind of crumbled. Game 4 against the Cardinals, they could have won that. There's a ball that just barely got over Freeman's hand. Freeman then disclosed that he had an injury, and his hitting sucked all series, and it was because of that injury, right? So off season, he got surgery, cleaned out the bone fragments that were in his wrist, and he's been MVP caliber since.
So he's an android, is what you're saying,
right? But had he maybe sat out that series, and we put in Culberson in first base or put in someone else, we may have gone over that edge and beaten the Cardinals and gone on to face the Nationals in the NLCS. But anyway, that's in the past. I think now we have things clicking. Acuna is healthy, Freeman's healthy, Albies is healthy, and then our quote unquote utility guys are coming through big. I'm talking Darno, Duval, and Ozuna. They're big time. So I think this club has it, man. They could do it.
Well, it's not, and look at a lot of different runs, right? New York Giants winning with Eli Manning, right? Green Bay when they won the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. And I'm only using NFL because of the fact that I mostly watch NFL only, but it's just when a team gets hot, it matters when a team gets hot. When a team just all of a sudden, us in 2016, the Atlanta Falcons in 2016, they were great all year, but they really didn't get hot until that after losing
Chiefs.
to Kansas City.
Yeah.
After that, they got hot, and then unfortunately they cooled off at the very wrong time. But right now, it sounds like the Braves are just getting hot at the right time. Everything is just starting to click, and then it might look. So as you guys know, I'm an athlete too. I bowl, like I've told Zino plenty of times.
Hey, forearms, man.
I'm just saying, man. But one thing I will say, and this is kind of not obviously this isn't the same, but I bowl a lot better when I'm doing what's called pre-bowling for a game. So basically, I'm not able to go to that game on that Monday, so I don't bowl with the league and take my turn as it goes. So instead, I pre-bowl by myself, which means I just do my games and then I give them the numbers and they add it to the end of the game, right? To the game that actually happens. But with pre-bowling, I'm going straight like through all my frames, just going back and back, and I score like I bowl a lot better doing that because I'm just going back to back to back. Mm-hmm. So in regards to this, I'm sure the Braves might be one of those teams that are just benefiting from the fact that they're not taking breaks in between the games. They're just going like you go one day, you go another.
That's a very good point.
So
the condensed season.
Exactly. It's a condensed season. You don't cool down. You don't really have time to practice is a lot more laid back. You have practice in between the games and all that stuff kind of like lays you back. But no, you're in the trenches the whole entire time. You're just going. That actually might benefit the Braves and maybe other teams. So real quickly, before we get off the baseball, so the Braves to you, let's just say if the Braves go to the World Series, which we hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think they're going to face in the World Series?
Oh, man. So, I mean, the smart money would be on the Yankees, right? Because top to bottom, they're just sluggish, man. Like they're living up to the Bronx Bombers name with Stanton and Judge, Voit. Just all of them just hit home runs across the lineup. But I'm actually gonna bet on the Astros because these guys are finding ways to beat teams that are supposed to be better than them.
Is that the team that was villainized?
Yes, yeah, and they thrive enough of it because they're like, oh, everyone hates us. We're gonna show them, and it's freaking working. It's annoying as hell. So I'd actually put my money on them. I honestly think the Astros are going to go to the World Series.
Maybe we'll be the ones that
knock them off their perch.
Get the bad guy, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, look. Speaking of Atlanta. So, well, very quickly, do you have anything more to add to baseball?
No. Well, yes, they have a good young pitching staff. Mike Soroka got injured for the rest of the season, but Ian Anderson pitched today. He was lights out, and Max Fried pitched yesterday. It was really good.
That's also another thing I heard about. Like, I heard so much panic after Soroka got injured. Yeah. Like, they were like, "Oh, what are we gonna?" And then like people was like, "Oh, they're not gonna." So that's management though, right? That's the what is it called? The manager that lines them up and all that stuff gets the lineup?
Yeah. He's called the manager in baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. Brian Snitker. Because Soroka is like Cy Young caliber. I feel like one of these years he's gonna win the Cy Young. But when we lost it, we're like, oh, our season's done. Because we've got Max Fried who finished the regular season 7-0. But we're like, we don't have anyone else. Well, yeah, we do. We called up Ian Anderson, and he's been amazing since. He's a rookie. Kyle Wright has been okay. I think we've got a good pitching staff.
So they're doing basically what the Falcons aren't doing, which is next man up.
Right, exactly. That responsibility.
All right.